What's up, guys? Just decided to go for a walk. It's such a nice day today. Man, I tell you, I had to see the world. It's beautiful. I tell you. Today is beautiful. Beautiful world. Couldn't miss this. But anyway, I wanted to talk about something that I believe is very important. And I wanted to talk about how to change your life. The 3 steps to change your life and become more successful. Are you ready for it? I don't think you are. So let's get into that. Because I'm sure you guys are, everybody's after success. And that doesn't have to be just financial success. It could be any type of goal you're trying to achieve. Whatever it is you're trying to achieve in life, you need to know the steps that's necessary to be able to achieve it. And I'm going to tell you what that is. Alright, so it's 3 steps. The 3 steps. The first step is you have to change your mind. You have to change your way of thinking, okay? The way you perceive the world, okay? Or the way you perceive things. You have to change your mind. You have to change your thinking. Alright? And the second thing is... Oops, my bad. The second thing is to change your accent. Because if you don't change your accent, you'll keep getting the same result, right? Have you ever heard that saying? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result, a different outcome. That's crazy, right? If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results. So you can't just stop at changing your mind. You have to learn to change your accent as well. And whatever accent you've changed, that accent will change your life. And that leads me to the third action. Third step. Third step, change your life. Alright, and become more successful in whatever it is you set out to accomplish. Sounds so simple, but it really is simple. When in that point of view, when you think about it. Because so many people focus on things that they can't change and that are beyond their control. And what I've noticed about anybody that's successful, anybody that has achieved something that they wanted to achieve in their life, any type of success, whatever it is, doesn't have to be financial, it could be anything. They hit some type of goal. They choose what they focus on. They don't focus on what everyone else focuses on. Like a lot of successful people, a lot of millionaires, billionaires, people like that, they focus on things that they can control the outcome of. And what I notice is that what happens is that people end up focusing on things that they have no control over. I mean, like for one, we can start with the news, for example, and how the news is just such a bad, it's just bad news, honestly. It's just not good, because it's conditioning people's minds to be victims and not able to see the bigger picture, not able to focus on what they can control. Instead, they're focusing on what's not in their control. Does that make sense? News, all it does is spread fear. That's why I don't watch the news. And that's just me personally. I don't watch it because it's just fear. And what I notice about successful people is that they don't focus on things that they have no power over. Instead, they look at the things they do and they optimize for that. And like I said, you have to change your way of thinking. And if you don't change your way of thinking, you're going to be constantly thinking about the things that scare you, the things that you're afraid of. And you're not going to be looking at what you can change. This is why you have to be careful and with who you hang around with. Not just who you hang around with, you got to be careful with what you listen to. You know, have you ever heard that saying, be careful who you hang around with, you are who you hang around with? Well, you are what you think. You are what you listen to. So, like, what are you listening to? Because that's gonna affect your mind, and it could be for good or for the better. I'm gonna turn around. It's noisy over there, but yeah. So what you listen to is either going to affect you in a positive light or a negative light. And successful people, they don't listen to garbage, okay? I'm just being straight up. You know, I've noticed that. And I'm going to talk about this in other videos about focusing on what you can control. You know, you can't control what other people do, but what you can control is what you do. And that's what most people don't realize. Because they're always worried about, oh, well, the government's doing this, the government's doing that, and this is happening, that's happening. Oh, the world's just so bad. Why don't you focus on you? Focus on what you're doing. Now, I'm not saying be ignorant. I'm actually telling you to be smart. There's always things to worry about. There's always concerns. But you got to know what to optimize for. Are you optimizing for fear? Or are you optimizing for success? So you have to first change your mind. And most people don't even get there. They're constantly thinking about things they have no control over. They're constantly thinking about the fears of why they can't do something. And they never take the necessary steps to actually see what's possible, to actually see themselves starting that company, that business they always wanted to, because they have limiting beliefs in their way of thinking that even stop them from taking the action in the first place. So before you even start taking action, you got to first believe that you can do it. All right, if other people were able to do it, you got to believe you can do it. And if you don't, you're just not going to do it because you don't believe it's possible. So change your mind. And then you have to take action. All right, because not too many people do what's necessary to get the results in life they want to get. They just expect it to happen overnight. Oh, well, success will come to me, good things will come my way. You know, I'm just gonna hope, you know, believe that things will change. What are you doing? What actions are you taking to make the change necessary to get the result you want? If you don't take action, if you don't change your action, nothing is going to change. Remember, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. Expecting a different result, but not changing a single action. The only way you're going to get results, the only way you're going to achieve your goals, the only way you're going to become more successful is to change your action. You have to change your action. You have to start moving towards your goals. And it sounds so simple, but it's way more to it than this. It's way deeper than this. You have to move towards your goals. You have to take action every single day. You have to do whatever it takes. And if you're not willing to do that, then your life is going to remain the same. Because you believe that, you know, if you just sit around and wait, good things will happen. No, I'm here to tell you, The only way your life is going to change is if you make it change. So you have to stop being the victim, stop focusing on what's happening around you, and focus on what's happening in your life that you have immediate control of. Instead of looking at, you know, all this stuff on the news that really has nothing to do with you. It does have something to do with you, but what can you do about it? All right, instead of focusing on the problem, you need to focus on the solutions. And then you need to take action. And then you need to work out ways to solve those problems. But if you're just focusing on fear and focusing on what you have no control over, then you're never going to have control really over your life, over your destiny. Because you're not taking the necessary action to change your life. And the actions that you've changed, when you do this, when you change your mind, focus on solutions and not problems, and when you act it out, your life starts to change. And that's how people get success. That's what you have to do. Your life changes based on the actions that you've changed. It's based on the actions that you've changed. I remember, you know, I wanted a car, right? I remember I wanted a car. And I just thought to myself, oh, I'll get a car someday. Or, you know, my parents would give me a car. Or blah, blah, blah. I wanted a car. All right? But you know what? Instead of waiting around for somebody to give me a car, I went and I made it happen. I got me a job. All right? I worked. I saved money. And I got me a car. Because I said, you know what? I can do this. I'm old enough to work. I'll work. I'll get me a car. And that's what I did. I changed my mind. I took action. And that allowed me to change my life. It sounds so simple, but it is simple. So if you want more success in your life, you need to change your mind. Then most importantly, you need to change your action. Because action is what's going to get you results. Where there is no action, there is no progression. So you have to take action. Alright? If you don't change things in your life, if you don't think differently, you're going to stay where you are. And that's just the truth. You gotta move. You gotta change things. You know, change is how we grow. Change isn't bad. Change is how we grow. And if you want to grow, well, you got to keep changing. You got to keep taking action. Because whatever actions you take, that will decide, you know, where your life is headed. That will decide whether your life changes or not. But remember, where there is no change in action, there is no change in life. So the 3 steps to become more successful. Number 1, you want to change your mind, change your way of thinking, and focus on what you can control. Alright? In your life. Whether that's family, whether that's your income, whatever it is, there's ways you need to change your mind and remove limiting beliefs. Okay? Then you need to change your action. You need to work out solutions in your life. Change your action, work on things, do things, think differently. You know, like Steve Jobs said, you know, think different. But once you do that, then you're going to get a different result in your life. It may not be big, but it may not be small. But you get a different result. And the only way you're going to get these different results is if you think different, if you do different than what everybody else is doing. And most people behave like victims. They have no control over their life and where they're going because they've given someone else their control. You have to be selective with what you focus on. Whatever you focus on in life is going to expand. So you have to focus on solutions and what you can control. Because the moment you focus on the problems and you focus on what other people have control over, well, that leaves you powerless. And successful people, they don't remain powerless. All right, they focus on solutions and they solve their problems. So stop, honestly, just stop watching the news and stop just consuming all this fear, because the fear is keeping you from getting the results you want to have in your life. You have to be selective with your focus. All right, be careful with what you listen to. You know, be selective with what you listen to, what you hear. Everybody might not understand you. You know what? That's fine. You got to protect yourself. You know, because you are what you think. You are what you focus on. And if you focus on negativity, that's what you're going to get. So, I hope you found some value out of this. Remember, change your mind, change your action, change your life. It's hot out here. And bros, remember to pursue happiness, plan a brilliant future, believe in everyday miracles, do what you think is right, seek advice often, live out loud, don't give up on yourself. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.